in this past week, the news has been filled with images out of Afghanistan as the U.S. troops have withdrawn and the Taliban has taken back over the country very rapidly. And there's a lot of obvious panic there, much justified so, but I think for a lot of us also, there's kind of mixed feelings facing what we're seeing there. This is a war that has gone on for 20 years, and so if you're like me, this has been going on the majority of our lives. I remember in middle school, September 11th, and I remember when we went into Afghanistan. I remember all of that that's kind of went on, and so to see it kind of end in this way, it is a bit deflating as an American. The bigger thing, though, for me, and I think for a lot of us, is the actual human rights concerns that exist here with this. For people who maybe aren't aware, the Taliban ran Afghanistan in a way that was very concerning, very restrictive on women, and that is being nice. Stories of forced marriages, marriages with underage girls, all of those types of things, horrible executions of enemies, a lot of issues, and so there's a lot of concern that that is going to happen again, and probably, honestly, and that is bothering. I think it bothers all of us because as Christians and as Westerners as well, that kind of behavior is just not acceptable in our society, and it really shouldn't be acceptable in any society. And so, I think a lot of us are kind of looking here at both our government, at all of our leaders and everything, and wondering, what can be done to try and help and to make sure that that doesn't happen again? What can we do? And I do think that there's a lot that we can't do, obviously. I think barring more military action, which is something that none of us want, we probably can't really influence it in that sort of way. But there are things that we can do to bring relief. So this sermon today for me, it's a little bit different. I kind of wanted to talk about this because for me personally, seeing a lot of these images, thinking through how this has been something that has been going on for the majority of my life, it's a sobering sort of event that I feel like needs some commentary. And really the biggest thing that I want to give to all of you guys is even if we can't, even if there's nothing we can really do to maybe make the situation perfect, there are still things that we can do to help people who are in those situations. There's a ton of charities that are still working there, tons of sources that we can support that are going in there and trying to help a lot of these individuals and everything. And really what I want to just kind of spend the next few minutes of is just kind of giving some of these, kind of highlighting some of these organizations and everything who are still working in Afghanistan and are trying to work to make things better. So you've got, for instance, the Afghanistan Journalists Safety Committee. The AJSC, they're an independent nonprofit organization that support press freedom in Afghanistan and work towards the advancement of journalist safety and rights so that they can report in a safe and fearless environment. Doctors Without Borders is working there. I think everybody knows Doctors Without Borders knows that they, give a lot of relief, and in a country that has been, in a war for 20 years, there's a lot of medical needs there that have to be addressed. Global Giving has several initiatives on their website. You can go, just look up Global Giving, type in Afghanistan. You can go there and you'll see there's a ton of initiatives that they have on there that you can donate to. They're all helping the people of Afghanistan. Miles for Migrants. This is an organization that has been working to help families who feel their lives are threatened to get out of those types of situations. And they're working in Afghanistan with a lot of these families who either have a spouse or who the entirety of themselves helped out the American soldiers. There's obviously a real fear for their safety. And so this is an organization that is helping them to leave. Another one is the International Rescue Committee. It's an organization that provides much needed funds to ensure well, they take your funds and they use them to ensure that their teams can deliver life-saving aid in conflict areas, and protection services for internally displaced people in Kabul and more. The UN, the UNHCR, which came out of the UN Refugee Acts, they have a restricted donation fund for support in Afghanistan. The agency is currently targeting providing emergency shelter, life-saving aid, food, medicine, clean water, all those types of things that a war-torn country and people who've been displaced from their homes and everything are going to need. They're a source that you can give to and be involved with. World Help has things. One of the sources that I would encourage you all to look at is Impact Your World. It's something that CNN has done. It actually has a lot of these, charities and everything that are working in this situation. It has a list that they've actually gone through and made sure that they do what they're supposed to do. Because I do know with nonprofits, there's always that concern of, with the money that I'm giving, how much is actually going to the people in need and how much is going to the nonprofit trying to generate more money. And it does sound like CNN has done a little bit of their homework to make sure that these are groups that are doing kind of more of that. So these are groups that include stuff like what I already mentioned. Hold on, I have to scroll up my notes. Afghan Journalist Safety Committee, so AJSC, but it's got other ones as well. The Global Giving is in there, International Medical Corps, International Rescue Committee, Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service, Mercy Corps, No One Left Behind, Save the Children, Women for Women International, World Food Program, and World Vision. Those are all kind of some that are listed in there. I would honestly encourage you, and this is something that I would encourage for everyone out there, if there's anything that you ever see in the world and it bothers you, don't just talk about it. Don't just get on social media and say, and point to the situation and say this is wrong, this is horrible, oh how awful this is. Try and do something as well. Try and give, if you can't actually go and directly do something, try and give to charities. When Jesus gave that parable, and our verse today came from a parable that he told, where he finishes up by saying, what you did to the least of these, you did to me. That philosophy, that idea there that he's pushing is, when you see people in need, help them, because when you're helping them, you're helping me. Don't just go and talk about it. Don't just go and think about it. Actually do something. Words are honestly cheap. Anybody can say anything. Anybody can get behind a camera and talk about these things, but actually going out and doing something is so much more. And I just want to encourage you all to do that here today. If this is something that you're feeling it is really bothering you, as well as also to encourage anybody out there as well, that whenever you see people in need, that you don't just talk about it, that you don't just bring awareness. We do an excellent job of bringing awareness, but awareness really doesn't do anything, honestly. There needs to be action. There needs to be directly going in and helping people out. Talking about somebody's situation doesn't fix it. Action can help fix it. That is what I want you all to take away from today. So go forth now. Do to the needy what needs to be done. Give them the support that they need, because when we support them, we're supporting Christ.